The very first software that you should have as a graduate student is Zotero. Zotero is a reference management software, and it doesn't matter if you're doing research or if you're just doing classes, you're likely writing some form of paper that you have to reference and cite other research articles in. And so using Zotero, you can import in your different references. It even has a Google Chrome extension that allows you to directly pull things from when you're searching in Google Scholar. And you can then organize your references, add PDFs, annotate those PDFs, and then cite directly from Zotero into any Word document that you have, or even a Google Docs document if you're not using Word documents. And I will have my entire Zotero playlist and videos on how to use Zotero linked in the description below. This is going to make your life so much easier just by not having to write your references from scratch or losing research papers or other papers that you're working on that you wanted to use, and then you put them in a random file somewhere, and then you don't know where to find them, and it's lost. The paid version of this would be EndNote, and that's one that I've used a lot as well, but when you're looking for a free version for graduate students, I would definitely recommend Zotero. The second software I would definitely recommend for any graduate student is Grammarly. Again, you're likely going to be writing a lot of papers in grad school, and Grammarly just helps you to actually not just check spelling and grammar, but to really be able to look at how your sentences flow and help you to reword sentences that are confusing. That just does a lot better job of catching and making sure that your writing flows well. You can get started with the Grammarly extension for free. You can check out a link in the description below to help you get started using Grammarly. If you don't know me, I am Dr. Elena Reister. I have my PhD in chemistry, and on the channel I make videos to help you become a more efficient researcher in grad school. If you're just getting started with grad school and you're trying to work on a research project, make sure you download my 30-day research jumpstart guide to help you get started in creating out that research project. Now let's get on to tool number 3. The third tool that I would use is Scholarcy. Now, Scholarcy has a paid version, but they have a free Chrome extension that will actually allow you to use AI to summarize your research articles really simply. So all you have to do is go to a PDF that has your research article in it and click the Scholarcy extension, and it will analyze that research article and give you a summary, give you the key results, and a synopsis. If you're interested in how this works, you can check out my video on Scholarcy, any link in the description below as well. If you don't know what papers to even start using Scholarcy on, I really recommend the tool number 4, which is Research Rabbit. Research Rabbit allows you to just search keywords, and then you can add in papers, and it will actually go out and find similar papers that you might also be interested in. And so using Research Rabbit, you can actually get alerts, like weekly and monthly alerts, to when new papers are coming on that you might be interested in and want to read. And even nicer, Research Rabbit will actually automatically sync to your Zotero. So if you just want to start accumulating a list of research articles, you can use Research Rabbit, add a bunch to your collection, and then sync it with Zotero. And I have a ton of videos all about Research Rabbit, and I will have all of those linked down below as well. Once you have all of those articles, maybe your Scholarcy summary is just too long, and you just want the real quick what's going on in this paper. For this, I really recommend using Paper Digest. So Paper Digest, all you have to do is submit the DOI number of your paper, and it will actually give you a real quick summary, just the top bullet points, key takeaways, and what that impact is of this paper. I'll leave a link in the description below, both to Paper Digest and to my tutorial on Paper Digest. It's also really easy to take these Paper Digest summaries and put them into your Zotero account or into the next tool that I'm going to talk about, so that you can actually have them as searchable. And so I'll also leave a link in the description below for how to organize these summaries within Zotero as well. The sixth tool I want to talk about is Notion. And so Notion is actually basically a combination of a database and a notes platform or a documents platform. And I've created multiple videos on Notion that I'll link down below, but what I primarily use Notion for is project management or organizing research articles. So whenever I'm going to use research articles in my own research articles, research papers, or literature review, I can actually create a database within Notion, and I'll actually have my template linked below as well if you're interested in that. But I can create a database in Notion that then allows me to just drag and drop that article into whatever section of the paper I want to be talking about that article in. So it's a really easy way for me to manage it, manage my articles, and make everything searchable. You can also use this for project management. You can develop different tasks as different items and then move them through whether they're not started, whether they're in the progress, whether they're going to be completed. You can even set up when they're going to be done on the calendar as well. Now, this is really similar to like Trello or Asana. And for me, the reason I recommend Notion is because you get the most features on the free plan compared to Trello or Asana. So you have to pay for features that you can get for free on Notion. Notion also has an open API, so there are a lot of different softwares out there to help you automate things as well. If you want to check out Notion, I will have a bunch of tutorials and a link to Notion itself in the description below. The seventh tool is one that I actually recently just found out about, and it was just recently released. And this is SciSpace, and specifically SciSpace's Copilot function. So this is really good once you're really getting into reading a research article, and actually being able to use the Copilot function allows you to just ask questions about the article. So you can ask questions like, what is the summary of this article? What are the key takeaways? And even what makes this article unique? And it uses AI to scan the article and actually deliver an answer. And this is probably by far one of the best AI approaches that I've seen when it comes to research articles. You can also use it to ask specific questions like, what does a word in the article mean? Or even, what are the specific approaches that this article took? And then the final thing it can do is actually explain parts of an article to you. So if you're interested in checking out a SciSpace Copilot function, it's completely free, and I will have my tutorial and a link to their site in the description below as well. To close out on talking about research articles, the eighth tool that you really need to have is Lateral. Lateral is another tool that uses AI, but it specifically allows you to get thematic information from a research paper. So you develop your own topics that you want to get that information about. So for example, in the tutorial I'll have linked below, I actually did it where I looked for information specific to the introduction, methods, results, and summary and future directions. And so what you do is you add in your research articles, and then it will look through that research article and try to give you snippets of that research article relevant to those different terms. And so once you do that, you add it to that term, and then you're training it to look in new research articles and give you exactly what you want, so that you can analyze these research articles and get actual verbatim what the research article says really, really quickly from Lateral. This is also really great if you're trying to do literature reviews or research papers, because you can just print out or export these Word documents with all the themes and the specific snippets of that article that relates to that theme as well. The last thing you can do is also take those snippets and organize them in Notion to plan out your research article as well. So I will have all of those tutorials for how to use Lateral and a link for how to get started on Lateral as well. You do get so many pages for free to use with Lateral, and then after that, it is a paid service. So the ninth tool, and this is actually one that I use on this channel a lot, but it can actually be really, really helpful for graduate students as well, and that is Canva. They actually have a free version of Canva that would work for most graduate students, and I'll have a link in the description below for that. Canva is basically a simple graphic software that you can use to create out different flowcharts and other graphics that might be helpful whenever you're trying to do research presentations or even in research papers. These can be made much nicer than they just typically can for the same effort in something like PowerPoint. So if you're getting started and you want to be able to create nice graphics or even do your research presentations within something a little bit nicer than PowerPoint, you can always export these out to PowerPoint later on as well. So you can still present them in PowerPoint, but you can actually make them in Canva. I really recommend every graduate student at least getting a free account on Canva so you can play around and really see what suits your needs. I know we do a lot of making graphics and things like that, and so this can be really helpful and would have been a game changer had I used it during my graduate school. The final software is actually for data analysis, and this is going to be more specific if you are someone who is using R or Python, and that is Jupyter Notebooks. Now, if you don't want to do any coding at all and you want to do all of your data analysis, the tool that I would recommend is Excel. That's what I actually did a lot of my data analysis on, but it's going to take you a lot longer. And I'll actually have an entire tutorial about how to do scientific data analysis in Excel linked below. But in Jupyter Notebook, typically it will have Python notebooks, but you can also add in R notebooks. And I'll have a video showing you how to do that as well below. But the nice thing that Jupyter Notebook allows you to do, and why I do my R work in Jupyter Notebook versus RStudio, is that it is more of a notebook setting. So you basically can write a single string of code per these lines in the notebooks and run it and output the results directly below it versus having a console and kind of our script page. So that is something that I really enjoy using, is actually using Jupyter Notebook with Anaconda as my distribution network. And I will have links to both of those below. They're completely free to use. And you can get started working in R code today or Python code to be able to analyze your own data, which can help you do your data analysis a lot faster because you write a code once and you can execute it as many times as you want on as many different data sets as you want as well. Please leave me a comment down below of which of these softwares you are excited to try out or you've never even heard of. If you want to go ahead and get started learning about these different softwares, I'm going to leave my tutorial for Research Rabbit right here and my tutorial for Paper Digest right here. All the other tutorials and links are going to be available in the description. If this video was helpful, please like it and subscribe to this channel for more videos on how to become a more efficient researcher. I hope you enjoyed this video and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.